Hello and welcome. If you want to use asset bundles and also have the Lakeflow declarative pipelines, which are Delta Live tables inside the asset bundles so that you can move them from one workspace to another, let's have a look at that today. So once you've got your workspace up and running and it's on the Unity catalog, it's a premium workspace, then create yourself a Git folder. So if you're a developer, every developer has to do this. And I've just made a brand new empty repository here just so we can see how this works from the beginning. And I'm going to create a repo folder here to this new repository that's got nothing in it. Just click on that quickly and see what it does. Shouldn't take too long. That sometimes comes up with that, but it should be here. So if I just click on that, and there it is. Okay, so we've got a blank repository here. What we're going to do is go to our jobs and pipelines here, and you can see I've done a bit of work. I'm trying to record this video for a while now, but keep getting a bit stuck. So what we're going to do is create a new pipeline, because there's obviously quicker ways and better ways to do this. And these are the kind of things you learn as you're going along. So I'm going to just go into any kind of catalog here, and I want to click on this button down here. So I want to give this a name. We'll just call it Sales by People V3 or something like that. And I want to click on this one down here. So it says, what do you want to do? So do you want to create a new project? A source control project, and then I want to go from new, because I could set this up in Visual Studio, which is what I normally do, and then sort of like marry the two together. But when you start in Databricks, it's a little bit easier. So let's go with this one, so create a new project, and I want to use this repository as the place to store that project. So I'm going to click next. It's going to take a while, but what it's going to do is create all the files that you need for a Databricks asset bundle. And before we do that, we do have to also give it a project name. So we'll just say project sales turbo, whatever, if I can spell properly. Default catalog, let's just go with SQL, give it a go, because normally I choose Python, but actually doing a lot of this in SQL. So let's see what that does. So we'll hang fire and be back in a second. So there we go. It's completed, and let's get rid of all they give you these like sample things, which I don't really want. I'm going to get rid of that. And we're going to create, I've got some files here. Let's just go back to our recent. I'm going to go to the files I had, which was these. And I've already created some SQL here for us. So we're going to create or replace a streaming table. And I've already got some data inside of, actually we're going to create the table. It doesn't exist already, but I do have data in a volume, which is people CSV and sales CSV. So they're very like basic CSVs, nothing to write home about, but all it's doing, just to give you a bit of background, if you go to the catalog here and go back into here, you'll see that I've got it under the defaults here. I created a volume, and then I just created, I uploaded to this volume some CSV files, as you can see. So very simply did that. So let's go back to this quickly, go back to our workspace, and go back to our repo here, and then get into here. Let's go into our resources, and we should be able to see our project. And once you start clicking on this project, it should open up another window here. If I go create a file, let's go back into this. I think clicking any one of these should take you to the, something a little bit similar to this, but there you go. So it pops up this development environment for you to run, and it should have all these buttons over here. So I'm going to click on a new file. Normally they call it like a transformation file or something like that. So it comes under transformation. We call it SQL. Call this one raw. So we're going to gather all of our stuff from our volume, from our CSVs, and we're going to put it in there. And if you click these, all it does is gives you a bit of sample code so you can use. Destination path. Obviously, it's going to land in this folder over here. Click on create. So there's our file there, and I can just get rid of this, but it does give you an idea of how to create your table. So create streaming table, call it raw, as select from whatever JSON files or CSV files you have. So let's just get rid of that quickly. We'll grab this. Let's copy that over. and there it is. And then I'm going to create another one. Let's just click on this. And we're going to click on SQL. We'll call it cleansed. Could call it enriched, but we'll just call it that for now. And we're going to create a blank. And then we're going to go to this one here. So I'll show you in a second what this is all doing. But for now, what we're doing is creating streaming tables. And it'll all become clear in a second what's going on. So it'll create a DAG as well for you to see over here, a graph. And you'll be able to see that. So let's make sure we've got everything working here. Don't worry about the squiggly lines. And let's go to our curated. So what the DAG is going to show you that we're going to go from raw to cleanse, and then they're both going to feed into an ultimate materialized view, which is quite cool, which is what you need, right? So click on another transformation, one more, and SQL. We'll call this curated SQL, and then we shall paste this in here. Right, so now we've got our transformations here. So ideally, this is what it's doing is replicating your medallion architecture: bronze, silver, gold, conformed, enriched, curated, those types of things. And we're taking data from our raw tables here, our raw files, and we're putting it into a raw schema. And then in the cleansed, we're doing some kind of like transformation on it. In this case, we just put some constraints, for example, and we're just changing the name of the person. Just a simple transformation. And then with the sales, we're just like taking 10% off. I don't know, just to do some kind of transformation. Doesn't make any sense necessarily, but it is what it is. And then right at the end, we're going to create not a streaming table this time, but a materialized view. And that'll be like a mix between the two tables. We'll do a join on from people and a join to cleansed. All right. So at the moment, if you look at the catalog, there's nothing in there at the moment. I just deleted everything to start scratch. You'll see that there's no tables called people raw and sales raw. So now we've got our pipeline that we've created. We created inside of our GitHub repository. So we've got our asset bundle all ready to go. Let's run the pipeline, and then when we come back, we're going to see if we can just push that to GitHub, and then it's all done. So basically, we've created a Lakeflow declarative pipeline with some constraints. We've gone through the medallion architecture really quickly, and we've also created a Databricks asset bundle. Of course, with that asset bundle, you can deploy that to multiple workspaces going up. Ideally, probably the way I would work is to have one asset bundle per workspace, not like multiple. But everyone works differently, and maybe there is a case to have multiple asset bundles for different streams of work within your Databricks workspace, which I suppose could happen on really large projects. So, having a look at this here, just get this out the way here. I'll make this a little bit bigger so you can see the DAG. This is a cyclical graph, which means it never sort of repeats on itself and causes an infinite loop. So the people raw is going. It's going to go into the people cleansed, and then it's going to go into people sales. Now remember that this is our people sales here. So this table here at the end is the materialized view. You could also have materialized views in your middle layer. So you can think about these layers on the left. Here is your raw, cleansed, curated, or conformed, enriched maybe, and then curated, or however you want to see it, bronze, silver, gold. So let's see, that's done. That's brilliant. And if we look now in our catalog and we just expand our catalog here, we'll see that we do have people raw, sales raw. We do have a materialized view over there, people sales, which is awesome. And there we go. So going back to our workspace now, just going back to this folder view, and we look at all files, potentially, if we go back one level to here, and we click on our home, remember this is your home for your, as a developer, it's your home. Click on over here. I'm just going to click on this, and we can click on our little GitHub thing here. And obviously, there's going to be stuff to commit. There's going to be all this new stuff. These are additions with the A button, added, right? So we'll just say first bundle created with LDP, Lakeflow declarative pipeline. So just click on that. And then that should go. And then if we look at Visual Studio, Visual Studio is pretty cool to do this stuff in as well. Depends on how you guys work. And you can also see if you connect your Visual Studio to your Databricks workspace, you can see all of those resources as well. So just gonna wait for that to finish. That has been pushed. So have a look in our code base here. So this is our repository now. There you go. So it's our project sales turbo. And we've got resources here. Let's go into this. That's our transformations are here. There's our files and such. And then that's our ETL pipeline. It's probably going to have some information about how this is run. There you go. That's the name of the project. And that's the transformations it includes. So come back out of this.